Would you let people smoke at your shows?
Oh, fuck. Yeah, dude.
Why do you think people care about that sort of thing?
Because it could be a hassle.
Is it more the venues more than the artists?
I bet.
Because the artists probably don't give a fuck.
Yeah, but I say it depends on your perspective.
Most of them live in California.
Yeah, I feel like I've been to some shows and they've been like, if you got some weed right now, light up.
Yeah, if you got it,
up.
smoke it.
Why not? It's also like, you know, the artist is there to entertain the crowd. They want the guests to have a good time.
Yeah.
The manager has to contend with policies, fire safety,
Yeah.
making money.
Yeah, I think some places it's kind of like a don't ask, don't tell type of thing,
100%.
where they act like, you know, that's
But
the
I've also
rule,
watched
but-
a like security dude get pissed off about it before.
And it's just
I
like,
was at like a Cage the Elephant show at the Yum Center. We were on the floor, and he came up through the crowd, was just like, excuse me, big dude. And he just goes up, taps someone on the shoulder, and is like, put it out.
See, but there's the video.
And
right?
he said,
KFC
he just
Yum
said,
Center.
put it out, and walked away.
Uh-huh. Oh, okay. So he's like, I did my due diligence.
Yeah, he didn't want to be a piece of shit about it, but then they lit back up, like, not even 5 minutes later.
Yeah, I mean,
Like, it might have still been burning, and they might have just, like,
yeah,
pulled
just
it
put
out.
it down for a
Yeah.
second.
there's so many ways. I can
So
do
he
that.
came back up and was like,
Yeah, see, that he wants to.
He's
do
like,
it
no
right
way.
there. Uh-huh.
I got in trouble one time for having a water bottle filled with whiskey at
oh no.
at Kroger Field.
Eat shit.
And they fucking confiscated it from me. They were like, give me that right now.
How about I just pour it out?
And I wanted to take another sip before he took it.
I just want to take a shot. Come
You
on,
should've.
man.
Nah,
I thought about it, but I'm like...
you be
nah,
pushing
I
it
didn't do it.
in their face.
That would have been so extra. I should do an
Just
actual...
chug the rest of it.
I should do an actual intro. I just kind of press play. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Highly Suspicious Podcast with Louie and Preston. My name is Louie.
My name's Preston.
We are reporting once again live from the Trap House. Got my boy Chris Reithmeier in the house. He has a band called The Dots. He also plays some shows solo. He's a talented man. He's on the rugby team still, right?
And men's rugby, yeah.
And he's also pretty good at basketball.
I need Deuce here to tell you otherwise. My friend just tell you that I'm not.
I don't know how someone could talk shit on you. You are like fucking like Bradley Beal out there. You're just faster than everybody. Do you have a competitive spirit?
100%. Oh yeah.
Does that help you in music at all?
I think that edge definitely helps be in front of the mic and deal with like confidence issues for sure. Yeah, being competitive for sure. Yeah.
So you do shows at like Flanagan's. Where else?
Well, as someone who's only been at it for like 6 or 7 months, I've been taking like anything I can get. So the Flanagan's was an inspiration for the journey because before I just fart around and go to open mics because I like playing the guitar and singing.
Yeah.
Instead of trapping my friends while I'm drinking at a house party, I just go get it out somewhere else, you know. And one night, the guy with the curly, not Morgan, Walter, the other guy, he was with me at an open mic. The girl who's doing freelance booking now, her name's Amanda Bratcher. Shout her out if she ever listens to this. But
She probably won't.
yeah, she has a lot of other things to do. But,
Sometimes I
We
say
make all sorts of shout-outs for no reason.
right,
Yeah,
right. Might as well. You're like on the off chance.
it's like shouting out into the void a little bit. Not the void as in nobody's listening to this, but I feel
Nobody
like
who knows.
I second guess unnecessarily, being like, I want to say this about this person, but they probably won't ever listen.
But
So I
that's
just
how
like,
the
I'm gonna
internet,
say
though,
it
isn't it?
anyways.
Nothing's hidden once you put it out there. But she came up to the lady who was hosting it. Her name is Katie Did It. She's in a group called Mama Said String Band. They're underground.
Oh, I've heard of it.
Yeah, have you heard their studio released album?
No, I haven't.
Dude, it came out like maybe 4 or 5 weeks ago, and they put together a GoFundMe, $25,000 to fund it in
Damn.
Nashville. Dude, they went down there, and it's a blast. It's a great album.
That's cool as fuck.
Listen to it.
I've heard of them.
Mama
I've
Said
never heard
String
of
Band,
them.
dude. I have to look up what the album name is, but it's really, really good.
So you kind of fell ass backwards into music,
Straight up. Yeah. So
as
like,
far as doing gigs. I mean,
oh yeah, and like this lady was like, "Oh, I want to book you," and I was like, "Someone wants to pay me money to hear me play? What?"
Yeah.
You know, I had a hard time getting around the eye rolls at social gatherings whenever I pull the guitar out.
Yeah.
Because even if one person wants to hear you play, you have the excuse. You know.
yeah.
But anyways, and so the next week I went to like I didn't hear anything back, and I went to the same open mic, and I talked to the lady. I was like, "Who's Amanda?" I was like, "I heard you want to hear me play like live, and I want to book." So I was all excited. I was hammered, bro. She tells the story I was drunk, and she's like, "Let me see you again" or whatever. And I went up and did another one. That's how I got the first one.
And you were hammered?
Dude, I was drunk, yeah.
And you were just like, okay, time to perform.
Step up, baby. And that's like, you can do that with music, not all the time.
But sometimes.
Yeah.
Certain scenes.
Yeah. I think that's part of being good at it, is just the willingness to do it. Because I feel like a lot of people would have been like, just give me time, just give me, a couple days and I'll perform in front of you. Then you had the guitar ready and you're like, I don't care that I'm hammered. I'm going to get this fucking gig right here, right now.
And it was like a pipe dream, It's like, I don't even know how much money they're going to... They could be like, I'll give you $10, But I'll be like...
Say less.
Yeah, I'm there.
That's dinner after the show.
Yeah, that's $10 you didn't have.
And so I showed up and she said she'd call me. And the next day, they had someone drop out. And so they were like, do you want to come play on the patio? And I was like, sure. Nice. And so I did 2 or 3 more like that. And
solo?
Yeah, and I did
solo in the beginning.
2 or 3 solo, and then like my 3rd or 4th one, I had Walter on again, because whenever all this was happening, like this is again with musicians, they're like herding cats. Like people are creative and they're always going on nice, like fun adventures, and it doesn't match up with scheduling, but that's like nothing to complain about. That's why like you do it, is because when you get these people together, it's a fun thing.
Yeah.
Making it more of a business side of things is something that you have to work in slowly if you want to keep everybody for the long term.
So what was the idea behind turning it into more of a band thing? Did you just see like a limit at as far as you could go as a solo guy?
Well, I mean, yeah. Right. Like I had basically no music theory knowledge, and I had a guy who could play guitar a lot better than me and Walter. He knew how to solo. And we were kind of like yin and yang, like, the idea is like we're there, he's going to handle all the rhythm, the lead parts will handle all the rhythm. And that's how it kind of got going, and we were just like, should we come up with a name? Just like having fun with it. And that's where the Dots came from, which by the way, the name's already taken. So, new name is, we came up with last week, is the Rare Collectables.
Rare Collectables.
That's going to be
damn. Breaking fucking news on the show.
News. We debuted our name last Friday when we played a little gig at Gravely Brewing.
Oh, nice.
Mm-hmm. And so getting people together for a band, like, it's all created, so it's not a tangible thing. Mm-hmm. It's only created once it's put to value and trademarks and money.
Yeah,
and whatnot, right. And
when there's money behind it, that's when it actually starts to matter.
100%. And that side is a really interesting part, because you can have so much created outside of it and it can just be stripped away.
I will say, though, that Highly Suspicious is a name that's already taken.
Sick.
And we're just like, fuck it. We're going to be the best one.
Yeah.
We're gonna be the ones that come up with, you look it up.
Huh? Yeah. We got differences between the pre-existing podcast.
There's a Highly Suspicious like band
Highly Suspect
that I've heard none of their music, and then there's like a Highly Suspect like podcast, and it's like, it's probably shitty, I haven't listened to a second of it.
And I think we also weren't married to the Dots, because the original guys who did it with me, like, they're still around, but again, they're both doing a lot of stuff currently. Walter, I've gotten very fortunate, like, he's got a little break. So, like I was saying earlier, like, we just have this month of July to get together and really put something together, like, cohesive that might actually return the favor, as opposed to just going out, having fun, and making a little change on the side.
Yeah, it would kind of suck, especially this point in our lives, that everyone's so fucking busy all the time. Mm-hmm. Unless this was, like, your main job, then, then you'd be able to have time for it.
You're right.
Fuck, everybody's just got so many responsibilities and shit.
It's not about the want, right? Everybody wants their cake, wants to eat it too.
Yeah.
You have to make all these sacrifices in the meantime. But it's anyone would also say that they'd love to have the opportunity to get paid to be in front of a microphone and be up there with their friends. And that's like the positive side of it, getting to be up there. Like, it really, we're getting, as long as the manager's happy and no one thinks that we're like god awful even when they're drinking. You know what I mean? The expectations are so low, but our potential is much higher than what we're putting out right now as a group.
That's the thing about, like, a lot of live music like that, like some of those people that were at your shows, they didn't even know that there was about to be live music. So when you go there and people are like, oh, well, I didn't expect any music and this is, you know, pretty good and I'm fucking drinking, and that's kind of the idea of what makes money for the businesses, because they're like, well, I'm vibing, so I'm just gonna keep drinking here.
Continue to hang out.
Can I tell you my story of what happened at the last show I went to? So I went to Flanagan's to see their show with like a full band. That was when you all had Morgan in the mix. That's where you had a couple people that I hadn't seen you play with before.
Yep.
So I was there with Caroline and my friend Pierce, and we were just chilling, vibing, and the waiters out there were nowhere to be fucking found. Oh. So I was going like inside to the area that's right there, and I don't know if you remember this, but there was a whole like school reunion or something happening there. Everybody was like kind of dressed up and they all had like name tags and shit.
Old folks.
And I was like, you know, I don't think I'm supposed to be in here, but I'm gonna try anyways. And so I go to the bartender in there and they're like, are you with the reunion or whatever? I was like, no. And then they were like, oh, are you with the band out there? I should have said yes.
Yeah, dude. I just said like, yeah, bro.
I should have said yes, but I was like, nah, I'm here to watch the band. I'm not with the band. And then they were like, well, we kind of got something going on in here.
Get the fuck out of here.
So you gotta go to the other building with the other bartender. Flanagan's is kind of crazy like that. They have like 3 kind of buildings there, and they both have, all of them have different, you know, bars and bartenders. So it's a cool fucking place, you know what I mean?
Yeah. On the outside, you wouldn't think it's that big.
And I feel like I passed by there a million times before I started going to shows.
Yeah, and it's real low key, and the real thing that makes it special is the late night communities that show up, and there's like different groups. So there's actually a whole trivia community there that I went and like just sat in that trivia during an open mic night just for shits and giggles one night, and I was like, oh, there's like well known people who are like like that do trivia regularly and shit. And that whole Red Room we opened that up for the first one that I did way back when.
Would you be any good at trivia?
Really depends. Really depends.
On the type of questions, I guess.
100%. You talking about like geography? No shot, dude. You wanna know what Istanbul is, bro? No idea where that shit is. The capital of whatever country? Never gonna come out of my brain, bro. No shot.
Preston, I feel like you'd be decent at it.
Depends on the topic. It's gotta be niche.
Yeah, I feel like whenever there's like a music category on Jeopardy, that's when I'm like going off. But almost anything else on Jeopardy, it's fucking hard, bro. It's a lot of like random shit where it's like
automatically, or you gotta really sit and think about it. That's how trivia works.
Do you think people study? Like that's how they get their income?
Yes.
They're like, dude, I gotta be a pro Jeopardy player.
You know they study. You know that they study because
they get time to, like when they audition for the show.
Man, I don't know any of that stuff, and I guess I never really wanted to think about how much you have to dedicate to.
That's a lot of fucking time.
But if you're
smart ass motherfuckers
reading flashcards.
He's like, yeah, I just aced every test I took in school, and so I just remember stuff. Crazy.
What if a lot of that stuff was like 8th grade knowledge that we've just forgotten?
I think I just feel sad. Dang, I knew that at one point. I'm such a bright kid. What happened?
They say that about everyone.
Right.
Watching Jeopardy with my mom is fucking crazy because she's just like a fucking savant. She just knows like every question or like almost every question.
Like the most obscure shit.
And so many of the times it's like, how the fuck do you even know that? Just like the most random shit that's on that show. Anyways, that's a major tangent. So, so you do covers most of the time, right?
Yeah.
Have you started doing like original stuff yet?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so there's 2 original songs that I performed. The first one is one that was actually wrote by Walter, the guy that plays guitar with me. The lyrics are actually not original from what he wrote. I changed them up to because I was the one singing it for the most part. Mm-hmm. And I think he wants to sing a different version of it too. But the idea of the song came from a song called, or it was either a group or a song called Six Bladed Razor. He just sat me down and gave me a couple chords, and we like wrote it. And the progression that it's come to now is like really fun. We were talking about it one day. He's like, I just can't believe that people like it so much. And he's like, we just wrote it in such a short time. And I said, Walter, we've been performing and like working on it for months. Like the reason why it's a good song is because we were just attached to the idea.
Yeah.
It's.
Did he write it in like a day?
Yeah, I don't know how long he spent on the actual lyrics or spent writing it, but we both like had the same idea for the song and structured it similarly. So when we came together, like we would bounce it back and forth, and then we would perform it live. Yeah.
So, do you think that the continuity stuff with your band kind of makes it harder to make a lot of original music?
Oh, 100%. Yeah. And I think that creating original music too is a complication of style, because ideas are centered around having a way to communicate them.
Mm-hmm.
So if you can sit and play a specific style without the thought of a message and it's just playing notes, but if you have an idea, if you're writing a song and you want to portray something to somebody, then the message is in the words, or the message is in the chords, or the whatever theory you use. So the broad perspective is just a little bit too much to create and give to everybody, because I can't write a song thinking about the drums or thinking about the bass or thinking about the lead guitar yet.
Yeah.
I wish I could. I can hear it in my head sometimes. Sounds good.
Yeah. The idea. For sure.
It's great. But the other one that I performed is wrote by myself, and it was just something that I really attached to a moment in time where I came to awareness. The words and the energy of the song are centered around like that specific moment in time, and I don't find that very often. But I also have like maybe 30 songs I'm actively working on. Like they have verses, they have choruses. I have lists of chords wrote for them. But now that I have people to create with, I hope that changes, or at least grows at a little steadier rate.
So, just doing a lot of covers and stuff, I think it's interesting that you all don't play like the more basic covers. Like I feel like you all don't play, the usual cover stuff. Yeah. Because, when you're performing with random people, those are going to be the songs that they know, the, classic rock shit that they could just hear on, like, the speakers and stuff.
Absolutely.
But
we do a lot of Grateful Dead stuff for that purpose. I think, but I think the musicians that I like to work with and be around are people that enjoy the simplicity, because it gets to bring out the skill of the player, as opposed to just you play it because that's how the song's played.
Yeah.
And those two ideas are very specific for keeping people entertained. You have to be into the music you're playing for the people that are enjoying it to be into the music you're playing.
Yeah.
And it comes off with the ad-lib stuff too. And the people that I work with, like one of the guys, Garrett, I mentioned earlier, bald guy on the drums, he's so positive in his perspective, because he's like, it's actually amazing that we have anything together, because we've already sold ourselves without a product. We got up there, we got paid gig money.
Yeah.
We had someone who had joined the same day. We had people drop out 3 days before. The classic freelance gig stuff. But if you want something specific, you need consistent people. And that's where, like, talking about creating music, that's where the consistency really helps. And cover music is a platform for that. If you like playing certain songs, write songs centered around that platform. Just, you don't have to do the Ice Baby fucking Queen thing and just take it.
Yeah.
That's not creativity. Creativity
for sure
is knowing what they were using and then building off of that.
Yeah, I think you gotta... It's hard to understand inspiration for some people, because it's like... Sometimes it is like, you gotta do it like you said, where it's like, I enjoy this type of music, and I'm gonna kind of make something in that realm of stuff that I like, as opposed to, being like, I like what this person does, I'm gonna do that.
Yeah.
Which is what I think some people do also.
Be trying to do that too hard, and that's also something that gets in the way of originality.
For
it's
sure.
Just being like, I like this so much, I'm going to try to be exactly like this. And so it's like, not just plagiarism, but genuine. You ever listen to a song and it sounds like a song of another artist, and it's just like, these sound the same. Like, same person, same voice, same style, everything. And so it is important for them to just kind of get out of their comfort zone. Like, you need to put your twist on it, but then you also need to, like, push yourself a little.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's some sort of formula to that of being successful in that, for sure.
Well, Jeff Ruby's, man, we were talking about work, place I work at, there's a band there that's full of really, really talented people, but they go there and they have the very same set list every week and they play the same songs. And, you know, it's crazy because when you talk about it, it kind of sounds maddening, but they enjoy it for the stage that they're at in their career and their lives. Or maybe they do or maybe they don't, but, you know, the lady, Robbie Bartlett, who's leading the whole thing, seems to appreciate what she has for it and wants, like, other places to build off of. But what she does every week is put on, you know, like, the same Ruby's set list, you know, and they take requests and they can do other songs, but it's very, like, restrictive.
Yeah,
you know?
They kind of have the songs that they want to play.
And that's okay. It's not, it sounds like a negative thing, but when you're talking about it in a
As a
context
career,
of,
yeah.
Yeah, when you're talking about growth and creativity, you're talking about it and inspiring. And
It would be it's kind of the same thing as, you know, when a comedian goes on tour, they do a lot of the same jokes in multiple places.
yeah, how do you as a creator stay invested in that if you want something stimulating out of the actual career? You know, it's
I think
a big question.
this was something we were kind of talking about before the show, but just like, you're probably grateful, generally you not talking about you specifically, but just being grateful for being able to make money at all in music. I mean, that's a dream for so many people that are just unable to fucking do that at any level.
And Dia blew me away. They were like, I'll give you $150. And I was like, you want to pay me, period.
Yeah.
It's like, what?
It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, it's nuts. It doesn't until you've been offered, or I guess maybe some people like it's all they've ever dreamed. I got that, and I had a guy the next week. I went to an open mic because I plugged it when I went, and he was like an older fella named Gene, and he came up and he was like, "How did you get a paid gig?" And I was like, "Bro, what? How do you mean how? I don't know." Like,
You tell me, and then we'll both know.
I went up drunk.
yeah, I was like, bro.
Yeah, did you hear the story?
Yeah.
I was drunk and I played and someone liked it.
And I was better than you, I guess. I don't know.
But that's where it's subjective, right?
Yeah.
He could be a better performer than me, like, objectively, objectively.
Sometimes it's just luck.
Yeah, and there you have
That's
your luck, you have your
another
connections.
factor entirely.
You know, and there's all of that mixed in with the logical side of it.
Yeah.
And you mix that in with the logical side of it, you don't feel anxious about it because you're prepared. So when you get wrenches, you get people not showing up, you get, you know, all this stuff, you're like, okay, at least 75% of my band knows the set list, and we're going to make, you know, alterations to keep the product that we're, you know, bringing to
Keep
the
it
table.
moving.
Keep it
Keep
going.
it live.
And keep it to where everybody wants to come back. Not after the show going, dude, if we were more together, then this would have happened, or this would have happened, you know? What would be y'all's, like, perception of a start in music if y'all were to start creating?
What do you mean?
I don't know. Like, if you were to see yourself creating any kind of music or any kind of platform, if you've been to live shows, you've seen people perform, like, what do you think, like, would be similar to, like, how you would get started if you wanted to play out for people?
It would be hard, right? Because when you're just doing, like, vocals or whatever, or if you're on, like, you know, production, you can't really do, like, covers in the same way. Mm-hmm. You don't really get booked the same way as, you know,
there's a whole
so
other
with
crowd.
a nice guitar.
Yeah, there's a whole other crowd.
So I know people like that do, you know, little ass concerts in whatever venues will have them, and they totally have, like, you know, their own following for that. But it would just be so much. It would be so much work to try to do that, and I feel like I would be nervous on the stage because, I mean, I felt that to some degree just, like, playing in band in school, you know, and I'm one saxophone of, like, 20,
right?
But I still am afraid to fuck up.
I was in band in high school too.
Fuck yeah.
And I was a trumpet player.
I can see it. I feel like the trumpet is a very specific archetype.
Yeah, exactly.
So is the saxophone.
Yeah,
it is.
Yeah, that was all the band jokes. Those were, like, the funniest nerd jokes I ever heard.
Oh my god.
Instrumental.
Okay,
like,
wait. So what's the worst person in the band then?
Oh, what would be the worst personality?
Or the one that you least vibe with, you know? Not saying that, you know, clarinet players are evil or some shit like that, but...
I think the most obscure...
I think that unironically, though.
The most obscure group in our high school were like the French horn players.
I feel like the French horn players were always weird, but I think that's always why I liked them.
Yeah. It wasn't in an unlikable way.
I think the percussion people were always pretty amped up.
Dude, they thought they were the coolest motherfuckers.
Pretty machismo.
Yeah.
And it's
but
like,
I
you're
always
sitting there-
fucked with the percussion people too, for real.
Yeah,
So.
all the percussion kids were stoned.
Yo, who doesn't want to just play the fucking xylophone or, like, the drum or...
I love the sound of a xylophone. I know that's a random thought to put on wax
that's
right
a good
now,
take.
but the xylophone
fully
sounds
agree.
really good.
It's a unique sound.
Well, it just adds, what were they, like single tones? And so it's similar to like harps.
Yeah.
So the idea is that no matter what you're doing, you're playing a note in tune because it's like all specifically built for that. And when you have those overlays and you have like rhythm on top of it, it to the ear it's just very pleasing.
Well, and when they, like, double up on the...
Do these crazy runs, it looks crazy.
Yeah.
You'd be like,
Do. It's like, damn, bro.
Or you ever see someone play a steel pedal guitar before?
Yeah.
Dude.
I was thinking about steel drums. How those are so crazy because you basically have to hit it with different parts of your hand.
The ones
and
with like the bell-shaped
yeah.
ones? Oh, man.
That's
that shit's
so much
crazy.
skill for, like, such a unique instrument.
See, that's really how I chose saxophone because I was looking at different instruments and I'm like, I don't think I could do that. I don't think I could do that. I don't think I could do the
For the
thing
trumpet,
that the trumpets
or the
do.
brass player.
Spit. I feel like I would look weird with a flute in my hand. I can't even whistle, so I don't know how I'd be
No
able
Piccolo
to do
for
that.
Louis.
Can you imagine me with a piccolo?
The tiniest instrument.
Little
ever.
as hell. Oh, fuck.
Gotta get Shaq to play one of those. That would be entertaining.
What does that even look like in his hands? One finger would cover multiple holes.
Would that even work? Would that even be possible? I don't even
Physically.
know if
Dude,
it
you'd
would.
have to like
You
give
need a
Shaq, you'd have
custom-
to give Shaq like finger attachments so that he could have like a finer point. Just hit the right buttons.
That'd be horrifying. Music time.
Okay, since we're halfway through the show, we have a very special treat today. Instead of playing a song, Chris is going to perform the first live music that has ever been played on the show.
What do y'all want to hear? Original? What y'all looking for?
Whatever you want. If you want to plug yourself and play an original, that'd be cool. But we do a lot of music that isn't ours, as you know. So
Just
doesn't
afterwards.
I'll do. Y'all ever heard of Shawn James?
no.
I learned about this song through a video game series called The Last of Us because they played
Fuck
it
yeah.
for like the
There's good music in The Last of Us.
yeah, they played it in the trailer. Ellie, the character, was playing it on the guitar in one of the teasers, so I started learning it. And then I didn't get super into Shawn James, but that's how I found him as an artist, and I love the song. So. This one's called Through the Valley. And I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, and I fear no evil, 'cause I'm blind to it all. In my mind, a gun that comfort me, 'cause I know I'll kill my enemies when they come. Oh, surely goodness and mercy will follow the days of my life, and I will dwell on this earth forevermore. And I walk beside the still waters, and they restore my soul. But I can't walk on the path of the right, 'cause I'm wrong.
the world from itself. Cause I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, and I fear no evil, cause I'm blind. Oh, and I walk beside the still waters, they restore my soul. But I know when I die, my soul is dead. That was Through the Valley performed by Shawn James, covered by Chris Reithmeier of the Rare Collectables.
That was so good, bro. That I'm gonna have to listen to that song after that because I fuck with that.
He's got 2 different versions of it released now. And you know what's crazy is he's super popular in Brazil. Like,
That's so
the
random.
most random. I have no idea. I don't know why I would have thought that. But like one time I was watching a video and I swore like he might have had like an accent. So I thought he might have had some family that was from Brazil. Or
Maybe,
has like,
or something.
but he looks like a straight white dude. So like it wouldn't make a lot of sense. But he got a great voice. The guy's like, he can play.
I think it's cool when you find a song you like on a video game because because it can just bring the video game to the next level.
Oh, 100%.
It's got a good soundtrack. Don't you think so, Preston?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I talked about that on one of the other podcasts.
Oh, did we?
Yeah, or it was like a movie or something.
That sounds
like that.
like we were talking.
Oh yeah,
That
movies.
is just like a
Movie
soundtrack goes a long
soundtracks
way.
for sure goes a long way.
You know which one was like that? Did you guys watch one of the newer Purges?
No.
So like there was like
I was
they
thinking
had,
of having that on for the 4th tomorrow.
The
Just
Purge.
Yeah, because you know how you go to like a Halloween party or a Christmas party and
Yeah.
there's just like this random movie related to the holiday?
always.
If I just played The Purge
And they have the
all
4th of
day.
July Purge. And
Yeah.
it might be the one that
I think that's the move.
it might
be
be
funny.
the one that I'm referencing. But movie
or National Treasure.
National Treasure. Movie is okay. Soundtrack to the movie, really good. I was like in the theater and I was like, there's no reason the soundtrack should be this good for a
Hey,
movie.
listen,
It's
that just
quality.
means that there's one music nerd.
Yeah, someone in there was
There.
like, I know how to make this
sure
good.
that it's a banger.
I think we talk about that a lot actually, because last episode I was talking about the last Transformers movie,
Yeah.
and I was saying
You
that
did
it
say
was-
something
it
about
was
it.
That was
set-
what it
in the
was.
playlist.
That was what it was.
It was set in
Oh my god.
in like 90s New York, so they were just
Yeah, they
playing
just were
some
playing bangers.
some great shit that I listened to on my own. So I was like, okay, and it
They know what's
awful
up.
movie, but fuck, that could just help so much. Just because,
Absolutely.
I mean, fuck, yeah.
I mean, and well, like that's why a soundtrack can't be bad though. Like in a place like that, like if you have music in anything,
Yeah.
it almost always has to be good because it can. If it's not good, then I think it just ruins stuff. Like you just get made fun of for it. So
Yeah, for sure.
you know.
There's there's some movies I've watched where they've done the "Hello, Darkness, my old friend,"
Oh yeah.
and I just fucking laugh because of the meme.
It's meme associated. Yeah, you got to be aware of that stuff.
Yeah, I think it was like Donnie Darko that unironically does it at like
Yeah.
a sad moment of the film, and it's just like, bro. One of my favorite video game soundtracks is Minecraft. That shit just goes so hard.
That's so simple. That's the best part.
Yeah.
It's like elevator music, but outside.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and vibey,
Right.
so good.
I mean, that's why people love the lo-fi radio. That's why
It is
like
absolutely lo-fi. Is outdoor lo-fi.
Yeah, like lo-fi. Lo-fi is it's good for the concept. You ever heard the concept of like house music being like it's the same RPMs as a heartbeat, so it's like human music or something like that. It's like 110 RPM or something.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember like how exactly it correlated, but essentially it had to do with like everybody's rhythm being in sync, and that's what like the rhythm of electronic music is fascinating because like
it's different than any other.
It's consistent and it's a lot like the stuff we don't understand, like the rhythm of your heart. You know, right? Like that's electronic technically. It runs on a pulse, like electric pulse. But when you just have that in the background, you know, it frees up a lot of other ways for you to feel things. I feel like.
Yeah, relaxes you maybe.
Yeah, because you're not distracted with one of your senses. It's actually being filled with something that is driving if you're in tune with the music that you're listening to.
That's crazy. I didn't really know about all that.
I think that was. I don't know how concrete that is. That's more raw thought. But
I think might be something to that.
Yeah.
I mean, rhythm in general. I mean, we were in fucking caves, banging on the sides to make beats.
No. So you know what? You just brought up a niche thing that I know about. Let me info dump. All right.
Yeah.
So they have found like caves with great acoustics and stones that are not from that cave, and it's because they would play the stones as drums. Because there would be quartz deposits, so it would have good resonance. So they would bring giant stones, smooth them out, and play them at these caves with good acoustics, just for the acoustics.
Is
like
this
they
an
didn't live
anthropology
there.
thing?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you anthropology study or just
Dropped out of college, long fucking time.
I took a biological anthropology class.
He knows a lot about a lot, though.
They have found like stones not originally from that site. Basically, from my understanding, it was like that it had quartz and other mineral deposits that
maybe our next
caused it to have good resonance.
Maybe our next studio should be in a quartz cave.
Cave, baby. Get that them caveman acoustics.
We're reporting once again live from the cave.
Like it's literally they just use that as like a stadium.
Yeah,
but basically,
and how like the projection, like what was it? You ever heard the concept that music quiet is felt differently than music loud? The reason we like the feeling of loud music is because of how the volume of the sounds changes the way it's perceived. So like
it definitely does.
So like it's the acoustics of the cave. Like it's the first.
It feels different.
It's amplified. Yeah.
That's the difference between like live music and no matter how you have it playing in the fucking car. Like I went to see live music recently, and I could feel it in my ribcage.
So good, yeah.
I could feel the bass in my ribcage.
Oh, it's a great
feeling.
It's a good feeling.
It's a unique feeling, and you don't get that like bumping it in.
That shit can make you like euphoric, like afterwards
absolutely.
Leaving it, and your body's just still.
What's y'all opinion of still crowds?
Huh?
Still crowds. What's your opinion of still crowds?
Like crowds being still?
Yes. Like you're out at a music venue,
sad.
and like people just aren't moving.
The worst places for that
Somebody needs to bring a like beach ball.
Yeah,
the bigger artists.
There.
The bigger artists are the ones that are like that because when I go to someone niche that I really fuck with, like
it's always
like when I went to like when I went to Maxo Cream at Forecastle, I didn't give a fuck. I was jumping up and down. I was acting like a fool. But if you went to like a Drake concert, you're there with a bunch of motherfuckers that do not like Drake that much.
Well, it's just
they
were there with their girlfriend or something.
They're there looking cool, whatever.
Yeah, but it's weird to me. Like I grew up.
And it's not the same.
I grew up going to shows in Texas, like country shows, and like the thing to do was to dance. Like swing dancing was a thing in Texas, and it's so funny because it is like the only excuse for awkward white folks to get out there and try something. And then you go to a concert. And like people would swing dance, but mostly stand still. And I went to one of the ones from an artist from Texas, and my girlfriend. It was packed 4th Street Live. His name's Wetzel. We finally found a space like way up top in the 2nd story. We could get some like room. We were like dancing and stuff. People were just like staring at us. I swore I saw like video. Like people were like trying to make fun, like take pictures and shit. And I'm like, it's so weird how it's strange for people to enjoy themselves and like just spin around and do a partner dance than it is to like stand still.
That's some weird like social dynamic shit. I saw a clip the other day of like
if everyone else isn't dancing, you shouldn't be dancing.
On vacation, and this one dude's recording, and everybody else has like a coconut or pineapple tropical ass fruity ass drink, and he's like, "Y'all are gay for that. You couldn't catch me dead with that in my fucking hand." And it's like, bro, enjoy yourself. Take a
Yeah,
deep breath.
everyone's
Be
Get
happy.
a fucking pineapple drink and be happy,
Everyone's making
asshole.
fun of you. Like you're not like you think that you posting that makes you look like, oh, I'm a whiskey. Everyone's laughing at you, dude. It's
Like, please take a deep breath.
come on. Or if you're in a group of other people, like, and they're trying to say,
Get him
like,
a fucking umbrella in his drink right now.
Yeah, I think part of growing up is just
Not
caring
giving a
less
fuck.
about what other people think.
understanding your interests.
Because I think middle school is peak. Like, everyone cares what you do, what you don't do. You know, you have to put out a certain type of way that you feel like you have to be at that age.
Yeah.
Very quickly, I was
Everybody's a poser
fuck
at
that.
a certain age, you know? Like,
what else are
straight
you
up.
gonna do but pose? You have no experience.
Straight up.
yeah.
You have no prefrontal cortex. You don't even have that part of your brain
Hey,
yet.
you don't have a character developed yet.
Yeah, like,
Backstory loading.
yeah, exactly.
That's deadass kind of how it was. At a certain age, I was just
Facts.
kind of emulating either people around me or like.
But what about the
You
concept
know,
that like there's people
YouTubers.
living in their moment? You know, as
Yeah.
a kid, right? They're up
Yeah.
on like you watch like other kids your age doing something crazy and fantastic,
Yeah.
and getting these medals and stuff. But that's like the participation trophy, whatever award.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
you're like it
Attendance award.
Yeah, but how like what you get out of it like is what everybody, including the adults, miss. Like.
Yeah.
I think I do feel like the uncomfortableness if I would be like the only one dancing. Get a little liquor in me. I do not
Yeah.
care.
Yeah.
It does not matter
No, I've
if
been
I
asked
am
if I
in
danced
a.
before, and I'm like, if I'm drunk enough, if I'm the right amount of drunk, yeah, sure.
I could be at a funeral. I'd still be grooving.
Oh,
Does not matter.
I'll act like
They start playing the bagpipes, Louis like, time to get down.
Pre-game to funeral, bro.
Start spitting on the casket.
Woo, that fireball got that bagpipes hitting, dude.
Got my Kroger Field water bottle of whiskey in the funeral. Take
your-
one sip in the
Do your
middle of
sax
service,
skills
and I'm like,
transfer to bagpipes?
woo! No, it's very different.
Grandma would have wanted us to throw down.
This is in her honor.
I feel like people always say that, but I don't know if they actually mean it.
I feel like it depends
I
on
want
who's
my
at your
party.
funeral.
I want my funeral to be lit.
You have to trust your friends a lot if you believe.
See, that's why there's not going to be any, like, sitting around while I'm buried shit. I'm going to get, you're going to be able to see me. I'm going to say peace out. I'm going to get buried. You all better go get lit.
I don't
Like,
care.
That's just how it
Nah,
is.
I don't care if the homies are 80. You better be
And you
coming
better be
to my
drinking
gravesite.
While you're at the
You
like,
better
wake.
be rolling up.
lit, dude. Well,
And
and
you gotta be
especially,
rude.
especially if you're all old. What the hell? What are you?
Yeah.
What are you following? What do you? I guess like if you have some real like religious people. That you're
Yeah,
friends
that's
with.
just a how much of a fuck do you give sort of thing again, where it's like people at your funeral might be the ones who are like, I'm not sure I feel comfortable drinking at this event. And it's just like, if somebody told you to do that, that's the least you can do is
Right.
like get a couple drinks in you, even if you are sad. You'll be a different kind of sad,
Yeah,
you know?
or something.
Yeah.
You'll be more honest about it. Get
Well-
that shit out.
When my grandpa died in 2017,
Yeah.
I had to go up to North Dakota in the middle of the winter
Damn.
in like
Hey.
February. There was literally like 6 foot of like permafrost
Yeah.
snow on
Oh, yeah.
everybody's yard, and the wind chill was like negative like 15,
Jesus.
negative 20 with wind chill.
Chilly out
So
there.
all we did was stay inside and fucking drink it. I'll tell you what, that was the most liquor I've ever seen consumed in one weekend ever. Not with any of my friends, not at college.
No,
Nothing
Family,
like
bro.
that.
Different
Yeah.
kind of drinking, though.
But
did y'all drink a lot in COVID?
oh yeah,
Dude, that
Oh,
was,
yeah.
I used to have a buddy of mine who worked an EMT job, so he had like 24-hour shifts and then like 2 or 3 days off. So he'd get off and he'd just hit me up and be like, you want to come drink beer? I'd go over. We'd like kill a 30 rack from like 5 p.m. to like 4 in the morning. Wake up at like 9, 10 a.m., go home.
so you're a beer drinker?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I don't understand
Louis
how
likes
that
whiskey
doesn't.
too much.
I don't understand how that doesn't kill you when you have 15 beers
Oh, that is-
slugging
yeah,
around
no.
your gut. It just feels
Uh,
nasty for
I-
me.
I just grew up drinking beer, I guess.
I think
I feel that.
Well, also,
beer when
like-
I'm like doing shit. It can be refreshing. I don't feel like I find whiskey refreshing.
Yeah, you
Or
shouldn't.
liquor
For sure.
refreshing.
You shouldn't drink beer because you like to sip it. If you're trying to sip alcohol, like
it gets warm. It's best cold. Drink it fast.
It's like
and it does the most for you when you drink it fast.
No, the alcohol
right?
by volume is most effective if you just slam a beer. Like take 4 little chugs of it periodically.
Well, that's where craft beers are confusing. Because I'm like, you want me to
those aren't
taste
really chuggable.
Like, but if I chug this, I'm gonna get a friggin' bread. I just like a bread loaf in my stomach.
1,000 calorie IPA.
No, Guinness feels like that.
It gets you drunk though. Those get you drunk
They
so
do have the highest
fast. There's like you be having one on an empty stomach, you'd be like,
that's true.
I'm
that's
like,
so real.
Jesus, like I took a shot.
That's so real. But I get what you're saying, that it's refreshing or whatever. But when I drink straight liquor, I usually feel pretty decent the next day.
Yeah.
If I'm drinking beer all night, I feel awful the next day.
You ready for tomorrow? I might get some brandy. We might do like that last time we had sangria and just got messed up.
Brandy. You doing anything for the 4th?
Oh yeah, probably see some family or something. I don't know.
That's cool. You got a lot of family here?
No, I got my dad. It's so funny. My mom's from Texas, and she's here she moved here with my stepdad. They're now separated. My dad's home in Texas. His family is Montana, California, and Washington.
Dang, all over the place.
All over the place.
All over it. Everything started in Montana. So it's funny that you say North Dakota and all the snow. I'm like, I know what it's like up there.
Yeah.
My dad's told me
Montana's
all about
really
it. Oh.
Like that too, like the Great North.
I just like
0 out of 10.
Straight up Canada, basically.
Yeah, I never had a concept till I got older. My dad would tell me, he's like, yeah, winter was nuts because you get.
Yeah, you have to dig your way out of your fucking house.
You don't even want to. You don't even want to because you would die. It was negative.
You hunker down. You get your shit.
It was negative 40 degrees.
So
if you wanted to walk to the neighbor's house, you would die of hypothermia.
Oh,
Like what?
It's funny. It's really bad too. That's how you get frostbite.
It's funny thinking about how tough our ancestors now and just how pussified we are in comparison to
the AC's off, I'm complaining.
Because my grandma and grandpa, when they first got married, they were just living in like this trailer in the middle of just flat land North Dakota where there was fucking nothing through the winter. And that shit probably wasn't even heated, bro. I don't even know how they survived.
You bundle up.
You gotta bundle up in the wintertime.
Cuddle. I don't know.
Yeah, like
don't die. That's what you do.
It's like a concept of
survival mode at the crib.
Yeah, but there's like the survival of the fittest or whatever. It's
like
the people who got the luckiest and took the best approach were the ones that passed on their genes from a genetic perspective.
Yeah.
But my great grandpa, he used to drive his F-100 truck from Montana to Mexico with a fucking like RV setup on the back trailer, and he hooked up tubes from the engine well to heat the little RV camper that he had back there.
That's pretty smart.
But that's so risky.
That is risky.
Like that's so much risk. You're driving through like 48 hours of like some of like America's toughest terrain at times, like from Montana to Mexico, and then like getting there and back. And he like put gas wells in the wheel wells and stuff like that. But they just would do it, make it happen.
Yeah, that would suck.
People would if you did that today, people would be like, "What are you, Shia LaBeouf? Are you just insane? Do you want to just like doing this for a movie role? What's your thing?"
What's the longest you all could drive for a road trip?
I'm so bad.
12 hours.
12 hours, like in a day?
I can't go past 12.
You wouldn't be able to do like a 2-day thing?
Probably not. Not without falling asleep.
I firmly believe in shifts. I'm not doing any extended driving by myself.
You're talking about just like sitting behind the wheel, right?
Yeah, by yourself.
Depends on where I'm going too. I thought I was good, and then when we were going to Miami, and I drove through like the Appalachian Mountains in like Tennessee, it was a bitch. And afterwards, I was like, I need a break.
Yeah. Like
100%. I just had to focus so intensely for an extended period of time on that I was like, I'm burnt out. Like I can feel myself getting tired because that's the only time driving makes me tired.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'm pretty comfortable. But
when
if
you're
I'm
doing
having
it
to like
forever.
What?
When you're doing it forever.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
well, and when it gets technical,
flip on the cruise and
and just keep going straight. I can go straight forever, but like.
But when it takes some
effort.
mental fortitude,
I'm hitting the brakes.
I have family that lives up in New Jersey, and the Appalachian Mountains going through like Pennsylvania and getting into New Jersey.
Exhausting.
No, you're literally on like the side of a cliff at a couple points, and I could never do that.
Bro,
I can't imagine driving in like. Y'all ever heard about third world roads and stuff like that? One of the crazy things I got as a kid was my dad married my stepmom shortly after I was like 9 or 10 or something like that, and she's a firstborn child of a city in Ecuador, and she also works for American Airlines. And so even though my dad was still in the military at the time, we could go like borrow on a budget and go like to crazy exotic places.
That's awesome.
You know, for no money, and one of them was Ecuador, and the roads we drove up to South Ecuador, the mountains of South Ecuador, to a place called Loja.
That's lit as fuck.
Sweet, right? We got tricked into buying a cheaper option for a rental car, which was like this little like hatchback VW. We nicknamed it Chico. The potholes were the same size as the vehicle in the road.
Sounds about right.
And there was no truck. There was no car that wasn't a 4x4 that we passed.
Yeah.
Like, we were the only little teeny, like, beep beep, like, fucking VW.
That thing was fighting for its
Five
life.
was, yeah, dude. Oh, it made it all the way up and about halfway back and then it broke down. It
Nice.
did its best, but oh man.
No, that's a lot of hard work.
You want to talk about driving to the mountains? Like,
Yeah.
like I was like, bro, this is. I was 9, right? I was 9 or 10 at the time, so all this stuff was just like, oh yeah, we're on vacation. You know, I'm a kid, and now I'm older. I'm like, that was crazy.
Everything is fine.
Yeah.
I am a child. I am giving
I have no context.
I'm giving no
This is all
thought to
cool.
this.
That wasn't even like the most risky thing we did on that trip either. The boat, dude, we went to Galapagos Islands. Boat trips from island to island were like 120 miles of sea in the middle, dead middle of spring. So the ocean was not nice, and we were on a 25-foot skiff with like 1 engine and 2 backup engines. $30 tickets, bro. And like, dude, I was like praying to God. I was so afraid. I was the small child. I was like, I will go to church every Sunday. Like, yeah, one time that's like,
get out of here. Oh my
Bargaining with God.
Yeah, and then where I'm just like, the wave like crashes down and the driver's like injured now and he's like, oh, and I'm like, we're all gonna fucking die. Like,
The boat captain got hurt.
yeah.
Damn.
What happened?
Just too big of a wave, and he came down sideways on his seat or something, and just skadoosh. It was like driving it with one hand, and his co-pilot was like clearly didn't really know what to do, and was like trying to help.
Your dad was probably like, "Do you need me to drive, dude?
Oh, yeah, my dad's
like, I don't know how to drive one of these."
Dude, my
things."
dad's military man. He's Navy, right? And he just like stayed calm the whole time. But golly, people were crying and puking.
If he was Navy, he could have been like, "Okay,
I'm
I'm saving the boat on my own."
Probably felt a lot more dramatic. If he wasn't freaking out, like my dad's definitely been through a lot more shit than I have.
Yeah.
So if he wasn't losing his mind, then we were probably more safe than we thought. But man,
I haven't driven much through the mountains.
ugh.
I could probably around like a day's worth of driving.
In 24
I could do.
hours?
I'm one of those people where I
Yeah.
just plan stops along the way. Like
So you can rest.
I hate when you're like trying to hold it together and then it's like the next rest stop is forever a fucking way.
Yeah.
Like that happens, and so I feel like if I'm doing it,
That should be stressful.
I am just like putting every 3 hours or 2 hours. Like here's where
Stopping.
one is.
Dude,
3 hours is 4 hours is like kind of where I.
How old were
I'd
you
say.
whenever you were planning that stuff?
I mean, last time we did a road trip, 20, 21.
And you were driving over 24-hour kind of thing, multi-day trip
Yeah.
kind of thing.
We stopped in
If you didn't stop, how long would it have been straight through?
to Miami.
So it would have been
Where?
like 14 and a half hours, 16
It
hours.
would have been so
That's
fun.
South Florida. Miami's South Florida.
Miami's like
That's
the tip.
like that's like
It was
18
like
hours. That's
18
18 hour
hours.
drive.
It's as far as you could fucking drive
Okay,
without
so
going into
I guess
the
like,
ocean.
when I was like 18 to 20, I would drive from Dallas, Texas to Louisville or back, right? That's
How far is that?
12 and a half, 13 hours, right?
Yeah.
But I'd usually do it in 11 because my stops were just gas stops, and then I had my little like 2-seater car, and I would just max out the cruise control, just down the road, like.
Yeah, I would have like the most fire tunes playing. I would be able to
That's a
like
huge factor.
have some
Music is the
YouTube
only
and shit
thing.
in there.
Dude.
When having a road trip with other people, you know, you have to kind of ox to make everybody happy,
Yeah, that's
you
true.
know.
And when you're by yourself, that's the easy part.
Because then I could just be like, well, I'm in the mood to listen to this right now. I'm going to play this or, you know, whatever.
And sometimes like you're just in the mood for noise, you know, like
Yeah.
someone wants
Background.
to be picky and they want to listen to something specific, but you're just like, I don't even care. Like as
Yeah.
long as there's something in my ears right now.
Yeah.
Because if it's quiet, I'm gonna do this. Oh,
No, it needs to be loud.
Yeah, it needs to be in my ears. Yeah.
Drifted off.
Well,
the
let's
road.
not do that one.
You ever fallen asleep at the wheel?
No.
I have
Mom
not.
has.
Thank God.
She told me she has.
I've been lucky enough to have never had that happen to me. There's definitely some times
That's
where
one of the
it could have
scarier
happened.
things I could imagine happening.
Driving back from Florida for spring break, did I tell this story already? My snoring cousin.
Oh, yeah.
So, it's the night before we're going back to Louisville from, it was like Panhandle, so it was like a 10-hour drive. It wasn't too bad. But every night I had fallen asleep before my cousin because we were just drinking and, I would just be knocked at a certain hour. And the last night, we were doing it conservative because, we got a big day tomorrow. We're going to be hitting the road. My cousin falls asleep before me. He is the loudest snorer I've ever heard. His snore is like aggressive too. I said it sounded like a pig being slaughtered. It wasn't like
It's not just
It wasn't
snoring.
like
It sounds like he's dying.
it was like and it's just like, oh my God. And I couldn't go to sleep and Caroline couldn't go to sleep either. And she's the boss, so she was like, do something. And I was like, what do you want me to do? And she was like, I don't know. And so I get up, and he's he's asleep over there, and I put my hand in like a claw like this, and I'm like poking him awake, and then he wakes up, and I'm standing over him in the dark, and he's like, what the fuck?
You still your hand like that.
He said the next day I was like, Luke, you're snoring. And he was like, you scared the shit out of me. He said the next day that I looked like the hunchback of Notre Dame in the dark. So driving home, I was pretty fucking tired.
Yeah.
Oh,
That-
catch y'all up on
I've done some dumb shit driving tired. It's dangerous.
But it really doesn't take a lot of
Mental capacity to drive
yeah,
straight.
because until Nashville, you're pretty much driving straight. Nashville's the only weird part where it's like, okay, you gotta get off the expressway to get back on the expressway.
And maybe that's why driving through mountains is or windy roads is more tiring because when you can turn your brain
you
off,
gotta think about
and
it.
that's why you fall asleep on the straight roads, man. I'm talking about flatland in Texas, dude. West Texas, man, is like
Nothing.
woo.
Kansas sucks.
Kansas too. Oh my God. We
Kansas
drove to
is
Kansas.
so incredibly flat.
Oh, we drove,
Everything looks the same.
and it's like hours, hours of unbroken sand.
Indiana kind of feels like that sometimes too, though, where it's just like so much empty shit.
That's part of what I like driving about in Kentucky, because
Yeah.
you got hills, you got a lot of greenery. It's pretty driving through the country.
Yeah,
The last
here.
hour and a half of the drive from Texas, once you hit Bowling Green, is pretty sweet.
Yeah.
You're like,
I think so.
and I mean, you're also closer, so the
Yeah.
dopamine in your brain will get
Yeah.
home. You're like,
No, you're like, I'm almost there.
that second win.
I'm within 2 hours of home.
No,
Yeah,
that
yeah.
really does feel like it.
Nashville's another one too, where you're like, okay, I'm getting there,
Because that is demoralizing on a 10-hour trip when you're like, well,
It
we've
looks
been
like I
driving
made
all
no
fucking
progress.
day, and we're halfway there.
Oh, dude, that's so it's honestly, it's kind of funny how whenever you do things that are long, take long periods of time, how that 60 to 70% mark is always the most frustrating. Y'all
Also, your time perception gets fucked.
yeah.
Absolutely.
One of the
You're just
biggest
watching the clock.
Dude, one of the
as
biggest
you're
ones
driving.
I ever tied it to as a kid was we used to do these 50, 40-yard dashes for football. And the numbers 30 through 40, you had to count them out. So, everyone is a 40-yard sprint, right? 50 of them.
And they're counting?
Yeah. So you do 1, and then you take a break, and 2, and if one person, you have to redo them if one person stops before the line, by the way, because stupid football coach rules, whatever. Now, you get all the way to 30, man. 31 to 39 were the hardest. We're just the worst reps. And then you go to 40, and you're the last 10.
Yeah.
All of a sudden,
Just
they
keep
get
going.
way easier.
Yeah.
And it's so funny how it's just a very, very mental thing. It
Absolutely.
doesn't matter if you're doing that or if you're doing drives or
Yeah.
the third page of an essay, right before you get to the conclusion, You get into that freaking, like, you're writing a paper, you're like, "Wah."
Your coach was doubled as a vocal coach. Because look at you now. Now you're able to... Alright, that's all the time that we have this episode. Thank you so much, Chris, for being on the show.
Thanks, guys.
You have anything you want to plug?
yourself.
Shoot, man.
Show's coming up.
Yeah, we're doing a little gig Friday, July 28th at Flanagan's. Hitting that back up, be on the patio, do a full band set there. Keep an eye out for the rare collectibles around town. We'll be out.
Alright, thanks for listening to this week's episode. We got links in bios, people will be tagged, and we'll see you next Thursday.
Peace.